You've heard George Foreman and Larry Merchant, and I'll chime in with them, saying none of us will be surprised if the official scorecards are something considerably closer than Harold Letterman's 117-111. That, in the entertainment business, is what we call a tease.
But Holyfield ended a lot of those rounds really tough. Last 10 seconds trying to steal the rounds like Muhammad Ali used to do, his Bird's corner said.
All right, George, let's find out who won the fight. Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, John Stewart, scores about 116 to 112. Judges Eugene Grant and Steve Weisfeld both scored about 117 to 111. All three in favor of the winner of the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World, Chris Byrd.
So the judges do see the same fight Harold Letterman saw, and Chris Byrd gets his well-deserved victory over Evander Holyfield. And with that, Byrd has his coveted holy grail, a heavyweight title belt, and perhaps a foothold toward bigger fights. Final CompuBox numbers: Holyfield landing 102 out of 344. Byrd landing 150 more punches, throwing 403 more punches in the fight, and landing at a higher connect percentage. All of these numbers demonstrating the effect of Byrd outboxing Holyfield. Holyfield dispensing with the jab after landing only 3 of 37. Byrd sticking to the jab as his primary staple most of the fight, 154 out of 525. Larry Merchant stands by in the ring with the winner, Chris Byrd.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Chris. You said it would be easy. Was it easy?
Oh, heck no. Man, he is a true warrior. You know, he is such a smart fighter. He got rest when I'm up there waiting. He'll throw his big bombs and get rest. His defense is you know, something you can't really get past. I can't even say the word.
Yeah, but you're being very modest, Chris, because you beat him to the punch all night long.
Oh yeah, I did that. The warrior in him, I wanted to show the world I can stay in there and trade with these guys. He wasn't hurt me. He's a strong, fat guy, but I know I can get in there and trade with him. I get a little more stronger. I think I'll take these guys out.
You threw more stiff, hard punches than we are accustomed to seeing you fight. Do you feel now that you're a true heavyweight?
Oh, yeah. Anybody over 220 pounds. I feel like I grew, like I told you, after the Tua fight, I really feel like a heavyweight. I really feel good.
Did you think, knowing he's Evander Holyfield, knowing how desperate he seemed at the end, that he still might come through with something that's unexpected?
Always. He was throwing so hard. And I knew, those lights got me real hot, and I got a little dehydrated in the later rounds. So I was like, forget it, I can sit there and trade with this guy, try to make him miss. The crowd would roar, but he wasn't hitting me with any clean punches. It looked good, though.
You've been very patient and persevered through a lot of times when people didn't want to fight you because of the way you fight, because you're not the big heavyweight. Tell us what this journey has meant to you to get to this destination.
Oh, so much. I had so many naysayers saying, Byrd, he's not, he got good skills, but he's not big enough. He never can compete with the big guys. I think I proved tonight that I can compete with anybody. Evander Holyfield fought toe-to-toe with the best guys in the world, and these guys wasn't willing to sit there and trade with them. A lot of guys are trading and then roll out. At times, I traded with one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
So it seems you feel proud not only of your victory, but the way you fought him.
Oh yeah, I got in there and fight for once. I got something you won't dog me out on. I got in there and got the kind of fight that the crowd paid for at times, and at times I used my boxing skills and just got around them.
Thank you very much, Chris Byrd. Congratulations again.
Christ. Amen.
All right, Evander Holyfield. Thank you, Evander. Whenever the fight you've been in has gone to the decision, you've said, well, it's up to the judges. I have no control of that. Did you feel tonight that you were beaten in this fight?
First, you know, I like to think through it, and you know, I do think that he you know, he scored more punches, whether it was effective or not, but he was able to keep me off balance about, you know, holding his hand out there a lot, and you know, I wasn't able to get to him close enough to be effective like I did in the last 3 rounds.
You said before the fight that the secret to fighting him is to just throw punches at the target instead of through them.
Yeah.
But do you get so frustrated that you feel you got to get him with something and you got to wing something hard at him?
Well, not really. It just, you know, I get in this fight and it's, you know, hurt my left shoulder, and I couldn't measure him up because I couldn't use my left hand.
When did that happen?
Yeah, you know, after the first round, it was just like, well, you know, you pray and well, you know, I can go to the body, but I just couldn't lift it up to go ahead. You know, I like to throw left hooks.
That happened when you fought another southpaw, Michael Moore.
Michael Moore, you know, and I realized that, you know, well, you know, you know, he allowed me to, you know, to get clean shots because I was able to counter at time that I made him feel that he can come in. And so every time we got in a fight, I would be able to get the best, but, you know, he had a good corner to tell him to box. And, you know, along that he would box, even though it wasn't hurt, he just...
But he was beating you to the punch, and he was throwing more stiff punches, if not really hurting punches, than perhaps even you expected.
Well, you know, it kept me at bay. And, you know, because anytime you don't have a lead hand to set up to throw the right hand, you're off balance a lot, and I found myself off balance a lot, and, you know, he was just able to throw the punches that was necessary to...
Do you think he made you fight your age tonight, or is it just his peculiar style that made you that way?
Well, you know, styles make fight, and, you know, just like no one wanted to fight him because he do have a very loose style, and I wasn't able to be aggressive as much as I need to make him fight like the last 3 rounds.
So can we assume from what you said before the fight, from what you're saying now, that the goal of still becoming heavyweight champion is still there and you will continue to fight?
It's still there, and my goal is still to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Thank you, Evander.
Thank you.
Back to you, Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Larry Merchant. Well, you wondered about Evander during the fight. You seem to feel like something was missing. Is the hurt left shoulder a plausible explanation for that?
No, there's no explanation. He lost fair and square, but the guy was jabbing him on that left shoulder, kept jabbing him under the heart. And you think you've lost your shoulder, but it's actually you've been taken out of the fight and not even aware of it. But Chris Byrd, slick as they get.
Yeah, no, but Byrd believes that he's improved in his wins over Tua and now over Holyfield. Would you give him a shot against Lewis and the other bigger fighters in the division?
He's elusive enough to avoid those big punches. Somebody's going to have to come out with a style just as dynamic as he is, one way or another. Nobody's come up with it thus far. Lewis do better to go for the big money fights and leave this guy alone. He doesn't need him.
And that seems to be what Lennox is leaning toward doing. Larry, your final thoughts on Chris Byrd's conquest of Evander Holyfield before we move forward to some other business in the telecast?
Well, it's not a sentimental game in the ring. In the ring, you got to be able to do it. The truth comes out, and a fighter like Chris Byrd will expose an older fighter.
And Evander Holyfield has only won 2 of his last 7 fights. Maybe at age 40, his tour of duty near the top of the division is finally over. Meanwhile,